Hi there, this is Paige with Stamp Girl here on YouTube, and welcome to my channel. In this video I am sharing the cards that I made for the Use It Up 2020 challenge. This is hosted by Beth, who is Bourbon Creek Crafts here on YouTube, and the premise is to use up things from your stash. Quite simple. So what I did this time is I pulled out this 6.5 by 4.5 printed cardstock Matstack from DCWV called the Mango Frost. Really pretty colors and patterns, and some were kind of clear embossed and a little bit sparkly. And so I just used this Matstack, and I believe I made 60-some cards, 62 cards, something like that. So since I have a lot to show you, I'm not going to go into great detail, but I'll just kind of hold them up so you can see them. I have them organized here kind of by card style. So here I had a card base 4.25 by 5.5, and I scored at an inch or an inch and an eighth or an inch and a fourth or something, and I just folded the flap back and glued it down, and then layered those panels with some of the pattern paper, and then just found sentiments to use on there and different embellishments. So I have several of that card style. This one I turned vertically, but same way, I scored it and then folded it back and then layered the pattern paper there. And then I went back to horizontal again for these. Used different ribbons from my stash and die cuts and sentiments. For these I did little frames that I popped up. I cut my pattern paper to fit a card front, and then I put a frame in the center to die cut, and then I just put these two pieces down flat and popped the middle one up, tied some twine around the popped up frame. And then for this one I used a different set of frames. You can see the different size there. I used a little ribbon knot on that one. And then here is another one similar to this one. And for this one I used, how do I have it? This way. Here we go. Some twine to tie. These are some of my favorite ones. This was that frame and embossing folder from Stampin' Up, the die that you cut, and then you use the embossing folder to emboss the frame that you cut out. And then this was a stamp that I got at a stamp show, I think, quite a while ago, and it says, "From day to day I often find thoughts of you are on my mind. But how on earth are you to know it unless I send this card to show it?" And then I just have washi tape on the inside. Try to use some washi tape. Here's some little pom-pom trim I've had. When I was trying to match up something for this color, that seemed to be pretty close. And then these were just some paper flowers from my stash that I just layered and then put brads in the center. Here's one where I put a frame on the inside of the card. And then this one was a big plastic flower that I layered and put a brad in the middle. And again, another frame on the inside. For these three, I used a butterfly die that I cut out from the tag, and then I cut it again in a different color, and then I cut the detail of the butterfly in black cardstock, and then the tag is popped up, and so the colored part is inset, and then the black is over that, and then the body is again popped up, and then just twine at the top. And for the inside, just some washi tape that had similar colors to what was in the pattern paper. For these cards, I just paired up some patterns and colors from the paper pad to make a card front layer. Wrap some ribbon around it, use some enamel dots, and this big hello stamp I believe is from the Stamp Market. And then this whole panel is popped up with dimensionals. And then washi tape on the inside. For these two, I ran this background layer through an embossing folder. Looks like mosaic tiles. I've matted the pattern paper in black to make those colors pop, and then these were some little label dies. And then Hello Friend, I believe, is a Gina K sentiment, one of my favorites. And then the inside is just washi tape. I used a lot of washi tape this time, just for the inside layers. Here's another card style. These two are the same with the longer strips. I quite like your smile. That is from, I can't remember what company that's from. But I thought it was kind of a cute sentiment. And then these two have the strips going vertical. And washi tape on the inside. These cards are similar to that one with the 3 panels going across. And I just did a sentiment and a Stampin' Up! Punch, and I sponged the edges and popped it up with dimensionals and just put a little ribbon knot at the end of that. So I have Thinking of You washi tape on the inside. Just a note. Just a note. Here I added, let's go back to this one. Here I added some enamel dots down the left. Here I added enamel dots across the left bottom. And here I have 2 at the bottom and 1 at the top. So I have 2 sentiments, 1 of each on each of the color combinations. Thinking of You and Just a Note. For these I did a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 panel, and then cut an 8 1/2 by, what is it, 3? 2 3/4? 3 inches, and then scored it, and then glued it a little more toward the left. And then these were some flower stickers from my stash, and this one I embellished with some little flower embellishments from Stampin' Up! Love the plaid. Okay, for these 3 I did kind of like a window card where I cut the window frame and then put just the frame on the background paper, layered flower in the center, and some butterfly stickers that had pearls in the center of their bodies. And then this one is a little bit darker pattern paper, so I used a little bit darker card base, and then scraps of pattern paper on the inside. Getting quite a pile here. I'll knock it over. Here's one where I took 3 strips, went vertically. Here's a die. Trying to think who that die is from. I can't remember. And then here I took a strip of the pattern paper and just used a border punch, a Martha Stewart border punch. Just some label punches, circle punches, and a label punch that I just layered together and popped the top one up with dimensionals, add a ribbon knot, and then some of those flower embellishments from Stampin' Up! This pattern paper had this design on it, so I just cut it so that it would feature this design. Layered it with another piece of pattern paper, stamped hello, and added a little flower embellishment. Scrap of the paper on the inside. Then here I took one of the papers and cut a narrow panel, and then these were scraps that I used on each side. The panel is glued straight down on the card. The circle is popped up with dimensionals, and then some embellishments from Stampin' Up! Some pretty ribbon. This is a dimensional flower sticker, and I just added different layers and sizes of squares. This one is popped up with craft foam, and then in the sticker pack there was a little leaf sticker, so I just had it coming down from the knotted ribbon. And then this was another sticker from that pack, so I used up what was left of that sticker pack. That was nice. Here's another one that is similar to this one, where I used a border punch on the bottom edge of that layer. Here's one where I put the circle that I die cut in the corner, layered it with a scallop circle die cut. And then when I did the sentiment, I did it angled to follow the lines on the background of that paper. This is one of my favorite ones. I just love the color, the blue and white, and then I had these little stickers in my stash. For these I layered a couple together, and then they had different sizes in there. This circle is popped up with dimensionals. And then there's the inside. Whoa! Okay, we gotta fix that one. Sorry about that. And then these two, I used a background die. This one I cut down. The full-size one is this, and then I just added these little things to the inside. I believe these were from Dollar Tree, or maybe they were from Stampin' Up! I don't quite remember. And then a label that was stamped "Thinking of You." Here I trimmed off one row of the flowers. This is popped up with dimensionals. And there's the inside. Here I used some different patterns of paper. These were some little, they're like little tiny flowers, so it's hard to tell, but embellishments. Here is the word hello. So what I did is I cut the background, the shadow layer, in white craft foam and then white cardstock, and then I just outlined it with a black marker, or edged it with a black marker, I should say. And then I cut out the word hello from a scrap of this paper, and I also cut it out from black and then offset it a little bit to create a shadow. And then I did something very similar to this one. I cut this background shape from white cardstock and also white foam. And then I cut the word hugs twice, one from that kind of peachy orange and one from the pink, and offset them to create a shadow. Then I had some chipboard stickers, a few of these left, and I wanted to use them up, so I put 3 of them on this card with some white iridescent leaves. These are Martha Stewart stickers that I bought a long time ago. And then I pulled out some black enamel dots, and then there's a Stampin' Up! Doily behind those 3. And then this one is on a scallop circle, and then a couple leaves from the Martha Stewart pack sticking out. And this is popped up with dimensionals. And then I've got this one. This was I think it's Tim Holtz birdcage die, but I had it already cut in my stash and I decided to go ahead and use it. And then these were a couple of butterfly stickers, and then I just took 3 panels of the pattern paper and just angled them, the back ones differently and then the front one straight on, and then popped up the bird cage. And then this one, I did the same thing with the background, angled the 2 background layers and put the front one straight on. And these were some more of those Martha Stewart leaves. And then this one, I was getting down to just a few scraps left. I had 3 different sizes, so I put them together. And then I had these layered stickers in my stash that say Laugh, Love, and Hope. And the green doesn't exactly match, but it was green, and by that point it was like, I'll use anything that I have that I can find. And the inside of that is blank. And then I had this little plastic piece. I think it was a button or something at one time, and the shank was cut off. It says Best Friends, and so again it's layered like these cards where they're at an angle. These are a little bit longer and narrower than these, and then I just layered some paper flowers and with the brad in the center. So I like the color combination of this one. And there's the inside. So 62 cards. Unless I counted wrong, but I think that's what it is. 60 or 62, I can't remember now. But anyway, I have to repair this one. But I'd like to thank you for joining me. And now I'm off to create.